In this video, we're going to cover using the WebEx panel interface and the tools that you have available to you as you are hosting a synchronous online course. So the most important thing that I want to point out starting out is on the left in this area here where you see the name of your online course, and that is the record button. I usually use a post-it note and stick it up and remind myself, record your session. Before you really get started with your content, you want to hit record, and there are so many reasons to do this. But if you have students who miss class for whatever reason, or if you have students who want to rewatch the content, or even if you have accessibility requests, having your session recorded is critical to being able to meet those needs. So make sure the very first thing that you do is hit record when you start class. Okay, in this left-hand area here, you can see we have some options. You can see that your audio is connected and you've got a green check mark. If your audio had any issues, it would be indicated here. You can invite and remind people who are supposed to be attending who may not have shown up yet. So you can click that button and enter their email addresses and it will remind them to join the session. And then you can share your desktop. This is very nice because this can allow you to share a PowerPoint or another type of presentation. You could share a website. You could share a software demonstration. You could play a video on your computer or from online, and everyone who is attending your WebEx will see it. At the end of your session, you end the training session by hitting this button here. So let's move over to the right and let's take a look at some of these other tools that you have access to. This is the participants panel, and this is where as people join your WebEx, their names will fill in here underneath. You have different roles. There's the host, there's the presenter, there's panelists and attendees, and you can change people's roles. You can make other people to the host or other people panelists or other people presenters, for instance, by passing the blue and green WebEx ball back and forth. But you can see right now that I am the host, and you can even see that my audio is working. I'm talking right here. To the right of my name, there are two buttons that are very important. One will turn on and off my video camera. Using the video camera in a synchronous online course is really good for student engagement. It makes it really feel like you're in a classroom when you're able to see other people's faces, see their expressions, see their gestures that they make. And so I like to encourage students to use a video camera if they have one. This is your audio button. You can mute and unmute your audio. Looks just like this. When everyone enters your WebEx at the very beginning, maybe after you've hit record, you might want to remind everyone to please mute their audio. That way there won't be any background noise, dogs barking, trucks, reverb, anything that could disturb the class. Okay, let's take a look at this bar right here and see what these items do. If your student raises their hand, it's a good indicator that they've got a question and you can address that. You can ask for a yes/no poll, and students can vote yes or no. And then over here you can see the results of that poll. If this were to be a recorded session, you could skip forward or skip back. You have the ability to throw out an emoji. So maybe a student is presenting on something and gives you a really great idea. You know, you can put up a light bulb saying that it gives me a good idea, and it lets you know that students are engaged, or maybe that students need coffee. You can ask students to throw out an emoji or a check mark if they can hear you, for instance. I think that's the most common thing that we do is if you can hear me, give me a green check mark. And so after that, you know, how do you get rid of those? There's this little eraser here, and when you, as the host, click the eraser, everyone's check marks, X's, or emojis will go away and it will reset. Okay? Next item I'd like to point out to you is right here. To the left of this, you can see that's that invite and remind others to join. Same thing as what you've got over here. But let's take a look at this red exclamation point. If you have a red exclamation point next to your student's name, that means they're not paying attention. That means that the WebEx window is not in the forefront of their computer. There are other windows open in front of that, and that they are multitasking and they are doing other things. And so this is an indicator to you that you might want to try to stop and ask a question. Maybe ask for students to answer that question, maybe ask a specific student their opinion, but it lets you know whether or not people are paying attention. Okay, the last section that we want to cover down here is the chat box. So this is where you're able to say hello and talk to people. You can send chats to the entire group of participants. You can send a private chat just to the host or to the presenter or to the host and the presenter or the host, presenter, and panelists. And then as attendees join here, their names will appear down here as well. So your students can actually be privately chatting with each other using this chat box during your class and you won't see it. So just a good thing to know. It's helpful. A lot of times students who may be lost or who have questions, they have a friend in class that they can ask. That's a powerful tool. So the chat box can be used by all. So these are the most important tools that I think is important for facilitators to know how to use when facilitating a WebEx session. I hope you find them useful.